The show will start shortly, so while you wait, let's get to know your hosts. Kim and Carlos are a married couple, grew up in the same small town, and met because of sports. Here's a blast from the past of what we were like back then. Fun facts about Carlos: he was our high school basketball star, and he ran a leg of the Olympic torch run for the 1984 Olympics. I was a freshman when Carlos was a senior. He wrote these messages to me in our yearbook back in 1985. We decided to start our podcast in 2023. Our first season used this cover art. The first season was our memoir about getting your child through cancer. The name of our show has deep meaning for us because doctors would always blow us off with these two words, typical and unique. We made this montage part of our intro for a while.
Hit with so many typicallys and uniques.
Oh, yes, that is very typical. We see it all the time.
Don't worry about it. That's typical, you know.
Oh, every child is unique, so we can't say what is typical.
That's typical. See you later. You know.
Well, that's unique. We don't really see that very much.
Yeah, typical or unique.
Since then, we took a break from podcasting and came back with season 2 as a discussion podcast, mostly discussing true crime. We can talk about almost anything on here, though. Tonight is our first live, and we thank you for joining us. Now, if you're ready, let's get into it. Welcome to Typically Unique. I'm Kim Aponte, and I'm here with my husband, Carlos.
Hello. And we're doing our part 2 of the Big Brother. So there's a show tonight. So an hour or so before, a couple hours before each show, we're going to come on, talk about the previous show, and make a few predictions about tonight's show. And so the last episode, which was episode 2 on Big Brother, they are introducing the second 8 of the house guests.
Yep.
So should we just run through them one at a time, or do you have any other opening statements?
Well, so let's talk about this real quick. So I went out looking on YouTube to see what other Big Brother shows are out there. And oh my goodness, I know that there's already like a hot mess in the house. Like I could tell, I didn't watch anything, but I could see some of the headlines. So we're not doing that. We're just going episode by episode, what we see, and talking about that. So first episode was interesting, met the first 8 characters. So we're going to talk about the second 8 characters and their competition that they had last Thursday night,
right?
And then tonight, Sunday night, they're going to get into probably head of household, and I've heard there's been some drama, so hopefully we're going to watch that tonight. But let
me requalify that a little bit though, because if we accidentally right, if we accidentally not go searching for it, but if we accidentally run across some things that happen between shows, I'm okay talking about some of that stuff. I'd rather just talk about the previous show, and I want to do that. Yeah. We certainly check that box. I think that's what we wanted to do, but I don't mind talking about some rumors and stuff, that are going on around there. I mean, we physically talk about Big Brother. So TikTok hears that. So I'll get some TikToks about Big Brother. Yeah. So it's hard for me to screen everything out, in today's world. So yeah. And one funny part about that hopefully we'll talk about later, it kind of goes to our early favorites. I'll just put that little teaser out there. That it goes to one of our early.
We can just say it. We heard that Angela's already a hot mess in the house and causing problems. So hopefully we're going to find out tonight. I kind of still think like they were setting her up, and I don't know anything. I don't know anything about it, so I'm curious to see that tonight.
And who picked Angela? Who was it early?
I did. I'm already going to be heartbroken. I know it, but
And who predicted the first hot mess of the show?
You did.
And who was that?
Angela.
Yeah. Surprise. That's all right.
I also think I said last episode that I had some tea on the 17th house guest, the AI Ainsley.
So I don't even know this.
They didn't vote her into the house.
Right.
So the physical human that was going to go in, everybody was saying was a famous TikToker.
Oh,
so as soon as they showed her on there, people were all over the internet like, she's a TikToker. And so
is she?
Yeah.
Did you?
I didn't verify, but that's what I'm assuming. There were 500 million people saying it. So you never know.
But, you never know.
Yeah.
No, but so okay. Well, let's get into the characters that we met the last episode, right? Episode 2.
Yeah.
And you got them right there. So let's talk about
no.
You want to put them together?
Well, I was trying to see. Oh wait, this.
Let's do that. Oh, there we are. We're down there.
We'll be little in the
little
corner.
peoples right there. Hey. So all right, so let's talk about the two of the 8 that came in on the last episode.
Yes.
The first one is Leah. Yep. So
I'm blocking us. I'm blocking the information.
Oh, put it to the top right. Oh, there you go. Nice. All right. So, Leah, you laughed out loud about Leah, and we'll get to why.
Mm-hmm.
But Leah, Miami lifestyle, she's got her own little company, I think underwear company or something like that. And she is big on the chubby chasers.
Yeah, they said she's a chubby chaser, and I was like, that could be taken a couple of ways.
I know.
What do they mean by that? And it is the fluffier side of men. I think she likes. So that was interesting. And she also was she the one that said she was the. No, yeah, she's just from Miami, and
she owns the underwear company. Yeah. So, but I think she had a pretty nice personality. She didn't give off any early red flags. So
no,
she's in my middle of the pack kind of theme right now for her. But it wasn't too bad. And I think she was when she entered the house, she didn't raise any red flags or tried to hide in the background. I think she seemed middle of the road, which is good.
Yeah, not a lot too much to say about her.
Now Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what you think of Quinn.
Oh my gosh, he is going to bring the humor. He was, and it's natural. It just flows out of him. When they were walking through the house, he was making so many witty comments that you can just tell it's just that's just who he is. So when you were talking about bringing the humor and that stuff, I think it's going to be him.
Right.
So he also was a super fan.
Yeah.
So super fan of the game. And did it say what he did for work?
Nurse recruiter.
Oh,
he was a nurse recruiter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of a big thing, especially was a couple years ago. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, and you made mention of his hair. You liked his hair. Okay. I don't know.
He does have some nice hair going on there.
He's got some locks. I don't have any locks.
They're going to do a lot with that in the house this season. They like to do that kind of stuff.
That's for sure. I liked Quinn. I liked Quinn for the fact that I liked the fact that Quinn was a super fan. I liked the fact that he was knowledgeable of the game. I think he's pretty self-aware. Yes, he was going to be a little bit funny. Again, I think humor takes you a long way if you can do it in a both, kind and respectful way, and definitely in a self-deprecating way. That gets you a long way. So I think he knows how to kind of play the room a little bit, so good for him on that. But
he didn't seem obnoxious with it.
No,
he just
not at all.
Like it was just natural, just funny comments.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, who else we got here? Oh yeah.
Okay, Kenny. I don't have a whole lot to say about him. He's a police officer, but he's not going to tell anybody he's a police officer.
Which was funny because the first guy that interacted with him, literally the second they got in the house, Kenny, you could see he had a
tattoos. Oh, well, you're doing it. Spoiler.
Like, yeah, man.
He gets so mad at me. No, I'm like, I'm listening to you. Hey, 12 gauge. Thanks for hopping in.
I give her all the rope to say all the stuff she wants to say about people. I try to say one thing, and you're like, I'm going to finish a sentence. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just saying shit.
No, but anyway.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. 12 gauge, let me know in the comments if you watch Big Brother.
So Kenny had I think an American flag tattoo, and the military guy, which we'll introduce here in a little bit, he's like, oh, this guy has a flag tattoo. He's either military or police. And Kenny was like, I'm not going to let anybody know that I'm a cop. And he got outed within like 5 minutes of being in the house. So not publicly yet, but I'm sure that could be an opportunity. So yeah.
Yep. And he's also older, so it'll be interesting so he's like on the older side of the house, and
he's in his 50s like Angela, and I don't have him being a train wreck like Angela just yet, but it could be. But another thing too about him, he was an undercover cop, so he could use some of those skills. I know that worked there was a guy I think named Derek many years ago that was a police officer. I'm not sure if he was an undercover cop or not, but he really played a lot of that policeman tactics and understanding how people are in interviews and whether they're lying. And so, I mean, you get some special skills in law enforcement, and maybe that could help him.
Yeah. And Derek built himself a little career doing TV work as a police officer, doing detective shows and covering cases and things like that. So that's been nice to see. Also, interesting fact, Kenny is a Boston police officer, and if you've been following the Karen Read case,
we did mention that when he walked in.
About Boston. Yeah. So, yeah.
What's funny is they didn't get into the house until after that case.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll bring it up. I doubt it, because he doesn't want anybody to know he's a cop.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, if he gets outed early enough and they're like, come on, we know you're a cop. They're like, all right, tell us about the Karen Read case. That'd be awesome. Or, hey, you connected to these guys? Or just being from Boston. Hey, what about that Karen Read case? So, yeah, that'd be interesting.
If there's any true crimers in that house, maybe.
For sure.
All right, and then we have Lisa. She's the one I was talking about. She seems like quite a character. She is a chef, and she calls herself an event producer.
Right.
And she's a vibe curator.
Right.
So she creates the vibe, and she just seems like she wants to make everything an event. So I think she even said, like, I'm going to come in the house and I'm going to be able to provide that kind of atmosphere, kind of like the party fun for everybody.
Right, right. And being a cook, you can win people's hearts through their stomachs. So that's probably a good thing for her as well. But she almost looked a little lost to me. So I don't know. I'm not high on her. I'm putting her bottom tier. She just looked a little lost. I don't think she really understood. And I don't have high hopes for her. And I think there's even a point in the episode where I remember she just having this like lost look on her face a little bit. And I was like, ooh, you're going to struggle, my dear. But,
yeah, she didn't stand out. So that'll be interesting.
No, for sure.
See what she does. Some people fly under the radar.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Sometimes that's a good thing, but yeah.
Okay. Brooklyn. I have a lot to say about her.
Oh gosh, Brooklyn.
So I'm just going to start off by saying, I don't want to like her because she reminds me of somebody that I don't want to like, that I have bad feelings about. So right off the bat, I'm like, but I probably will like her. I did like how her husband described her. Do you want to say? And her husband has a nickname for her.
Yeah.
Two of the words Carlos always says to me.
Am I allowed to say why?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay.
I guess. If it's about my hair.
Yeah, it is about your hair. Yeah. So when Kim is not naturally this hair color, is that fair to say? Okay. Yeah. But I love this look on Kim. I love this look. Yeah. And every time she redoes it, right? I'm just trying to use loving words here.
Or even any haircut I've gotten, you would say it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. So, but I love this style. I love this look. She can do a bunch of different things. And when it's glistening and it just, I don't know, it feels like she has this classy look, but sassy look at the same time. So every time she does her hair, I'm like, ooh, classy and sassy.
Classy and sassy, he always says. So Brooklyn's husband said, classy, sassy, and badassy. And I was like, ooh, we need to add that into the mix because I really like that.
Can you give yourself a nickname? That I would like to know. Are you allowed to do in the chat? Are you allowed to give yourself your own nickname?
Yeah.
Her nickname is Classy and Sassy. She's trying to have me add the badassy.
Oh, can I do
yeah,
it?
I don't think you're allowed to do that. I think if I want to add it, I'll add it. But
I'll just say I like it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So it was funny. Someone said in another stream that they're afraid of her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carly.
Add it. All
it
right.
fits. It fits. What else about her? She's a pageant coach. So oof.
Yeah, there's some things to that. Although, who's the person that won 2 times ago? She was the first African American woman to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's something about having poise in the face of chaos.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the person, I can't remember her name. I don't know why it's escaping me, but when she won a couple years ago, I thought, man, she took a beating, but somehow,
she did.
Yeah, somehow, and let's credit the pageant.
Unjustified, right? Like everybody later found out, like it really wasn't justified.
Yeah. But
Carly said she's a red flag.
But for me, Brooklyn is, I don't know. I think she's a ticking time bomb, kind of like Angela. And I think, you don't get the name Classy, Sassy, and Badassy and not have a little, a couple triggers.
Right.
In there. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous about her, but I have to say, she came in the house okay. Time will tell. How much can she kind of mask or whatever, but time will tell with her. But so far, middle of the pack for me. Yeah. She could rise or she could fall hard. But right now she's in the middle of the pack.
Did she do good in the competition? How did she do in the competition? No, she didn't win anything. But I didn't think she did bad, but I can't remember. All right, then Matt. I did hear Matt's involved in the drama. So Matt's involved in some drama already. He's a nice looking guy, but he talks about being a nice looking guy. Right. They were showing his introduction and everything, he kept talking about his pretty face. Like, I'm not, and I know he probably hears that a lot, but you don't want to say it about yourself.
No, you got to be a little humble.
I think Mackenzie's gonna probably like him because he's tall. Right. He might be taller than her. So.
I think the only one in the house that checks the box, except for the older guy who's 52.
Yes. He's also like this nature outdoors guy. I think he like bow hunts.
He's doing a lot of target practicing during his little
an account executive. He says he's a Southern gentleman. He wants a showmance, so that's why I think
red flag. Red flag.
No. What else? Yeah, and he just keeps talking about his pretty face.
So here's my problem with Matt, and Matt may do good because he may get through some competitions. Although he didn't look good in the first competition. He looked almost out of place. I was like, wow, if you're supposed to be the physical threat, you should always be close to winning every competition. And he just looked awkward. And it was a solo competition. So he was all by himself. And I was like, wow, that's a little awkward. But here's my issue with Matt. And you could say this probably about every single house guest, but he resonated. I just want to be on TV. I just want to be on TV, whatever that is, if it's for a couple episodes or I can make it pretty far, I am going to take advantage of me being on TV as much as I possibly can until this runs over. That's just me, but he gave off the I want to be on TV vibes. And for me, that puts you lower tier.
Yeah.
All right. Who we got next? I'm on a roll now.
The last two. Oh, Cedric. So Cedric, look at that baby face. He looks so young. But he has been a Marine, and not only a Marine, he said he worked in like high intelligence, and that's all I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
Like, that was it, point blank. And he's the one that he looks awfully young. How old does it say?
21.
How 21 and already did that? Does that make sense?
2 years. I guess we do 2 years in the military.
So he must be a genius.
Could be.
To get in and do that.
Especially without any college or I don't know. Yeah.
Need to fact check that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Unless he was like a prodigy that, like, graduated college when he was like 15 or something.
We don't know enough of his story to say that.
We don't know his background. No. But he did see Kenny, the cop. Cedric is the one that noticed the tattoo right away. So he does look for things.
He does seem very perceptive.
Yes.
I'll give him that. I think he is a little bit about himself. So how he juggles the, how am I going to socially integrate in the game, could be a little bit of a struggle. But if he focuses on the tactical part of the game and kind of takes a little bit of a low profile, I think he could do very, 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 very well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because if he uses more of his smarts and his intelligence training and things like that, I think that will get him far. If he starts getting into a lot of the social stuff of the game and a romance or showmance, that could derail him.
Yeah, right off the bat, when he noticed that tattoo of the cop, he was kind of like, should I try to join forces with him, or should I stay away from that? Like, he was already thinking those things.
Yeah, seemed to have a bit of a strategic mind, but then he would flip over to, well, I am kind of a player.
Yeah, I wrote down he was a playboy. So,
okay.
Yeah, so he might, he might be in a showman. So
for sure.
Is that?
Oh, let's go back one.
That's the last one.
Oh, we didn't do Takor.
Takor, I believe is how you say her name. Yeah. She seemed really nice. She has a unique business where she crochets outfits, like crazy nice outfits, but they're knitted. So it's like this heavy material. She has the strangest accent I have ever heard in my entire life. And I think she's currently from Chicago. But she grew up in England, British. She's British.
Or British
or spent time there. So she has this like British accent mixed with, did I write it down?
Boston, you thought.
With a Boston accent. So she doesn't say the R's at the ends of words, but then it also sounds British. That's the best way I can explain it. So yeah, it's very unique. She even mentioned it on the show, so she knows. And that's why she explained all the places she was from. But as far as game goes, I don't know. I didn't really get any vibe about her. What about you?
A couple things about her. I think you're kind of underselling the knitting. I think she was featured in some magazines.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of people were like requesting her clothes. It was so unique. She even wore like some of it into the house, and it looks different, but it has like a snazzy style to it. It's like, that's actually not that bad, know? So I thought that was kind of cool. It was a very niche business, a very unique business to say,
unique,
and but I thought, her parlaying that into something was pretty entrepreneurial on her part, and good marketing and good business and good self-promotion. How all that translates to the Big Brother house, I don't know, but I think she's aware of what's going on around her, yada yada yada. So okay, cool with that. I didn't pick up so much what you were putting down about the Boston accent, British accent. She is from a British-owned isle. I can't remember the name of it, so there is some,
It's a unique accent.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Very stood out to me.
But it, seemed very articulate. And seemed articulate, seemed like she could have good conversations. Still just middle of the road for me. I don't know if she knows what how to tactically play Big Brother. She didn't share a lot of, strategy in the game. So I'll put her middle of the road for now.
Okay. So let's go into the game.
Yes.
The last episode. So they did not vote Ainsley into the house.
Correct.
They did the competition. Now their competitions were different than the first night.
But the vote structure was the same. So they put all 8 people out there like they did the first group.
Yeah.
And Ainsley did the exact same thing we talked about in the previous episode where, hey, please vote me in. If you vote me in, maybe I can help your game. If you don't vote me in, I hope you don't regret it. So she was kind of throwing some clues out there. Of the 5 people or the 8 people who voted the first time, it was 4-4. This time, so it was tied. This time it was 6-2, right? Only two people voted yes. And the yes votes were Leah and Quinn. So only 2 people. So those 2 people got to compete in a different game for an advantage. Everybody else had to compete in a different game for a potential disadvantage. So it
gave them a higher percentage of a chance to win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
what were those 2 games? I don't remember.
So
the face thing.
That was funny, weird. And I'm struggling to remember the other game because the face game was so weird. No, the other game was put the chips into the puzzle, but the room was tilting back and forth.
Yeah, that wasn't hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 2 people that had yes had to go find these. They were like plugs, basically, out of the back wall and go find the shape that they fit into. But the room was moving, so they were like slamming into the walls and stuff. Right. So
only Leah and Quinn participated in that one.
And Quinn won that one.
And Quinn won, yep.
So then the other competition, all the people that voted no, had to take a clear disc and run it through this track that went like a roller coaster, like down and up, but they could only use their face. So they were mashing their cheek up against this clear thing and like pushing this disc, and they all got about the same distance and failed. And who won? Or no, that one was for whoever came in last.
Yeah, and the loser was Chelsea.
Cedric,
the
intelligence agent Marine.
Yeah.
So he came in last.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So out of all both nights, we have 2 people who are getting upgrades, which was Mackenzie from night 1 and Quinn from night 2. And then the downgrades are Cedric and Chelsea.
Right.
So we're expecting tonight to be probably HOH competition, right? We got to get an HOH.
Right.
And find out what this drama that's been going on.
But let's finish the last episode first. Do we know what the downgrade was?
So the downgrade is you cannot be HOH.
Okay.
What else? You cannot vote.
Okay.
You cannot
participate in the veto.
Right. You can't participate in the veto,
right.
And you can be nominated.
And
so you cannot participate in anything, but you can still go up on the block, basically.
Wow.
So
and that's
going to be tough. And that's going to make the game boring too. That's
going to make it easy for the HOH, because when someone loses something, be like, okay, I don't know any of these people. Do I really want to, cause waves right out of the box? Although apparently someone caused some waves on their own. We'll get into that in a second. But I think my personal opinion, nominating these 2 people would be the easiest, no blood on your hands, as they like to say in this show, by nominating those 2.
Yeah, and it seems like the first head of household does like to take the easy way out.
Oh, of
so
course.
It's going to be
because you don't know anybody,
and the show will build it up like they're going to do something different. No, they don't. They never do anything different. They do exactly what you think they're going to do.
The easy peasy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm eager to watch tonight, and it starts in about 15 minutes our time.
Awesome.
So
well, let's talk about the next episode. We can probably drop that off, and let's you and I talk. So we don't have to have the character up there anymore.
Yeah, sorry. We should have took that down a long time
No, that's all right, baby. That's all right. We're just learning. This is our second show.
There we are. Let's remember to start doing that sooner.
Okay, sorry, my love. Sorry.
I'll make that your job. Okay. You're in charge of
all right.
watching the screen.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that. No, so I guess to recap, we got all 16 cast members. No. Ainsley didn't make it in. Right. AI is going to play a big part of the show, which I think is an interesting twist. Unbeknownst to us, but in the Twitterverse and TikTok world, we did hear that there's some drama happening, which is her person causing it.
I'll just pick a new favorite.
Oh, hey, fine. This is sure enough.
I said if she upsets me, I'm going with someone else.
Well, she might be. Maybe she's inspiring. Maybe she needed to stand up for women. Maybe she needed to.
I'm gonna wait and see.
Yep. We'll see how it goes, and I'm interested to see what happens tonight. So I'm curious.
So this is Sunday night. So we're about to watch Sunday night's episode in a few minutes, and then we'll come back on Wednesday around 7, and
we'll talk about
what happens tonight.
Exactly.
So we hope you'll join us back for then.
See you.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.